451st Judicial District Court of Kendall County. Ms. Thompson, would you please begin the announcements?
Jessica Thompson for the department.
Kim Coffey, Belong Adoption Specialist.
Carol
Collins.
Aliman.
Go ahead.
Carol Aliman, guardian ad litem for JC, volunteer.
Carol Collins, attorney ad litem for JC.
Amy Harding, Hill Country House supervisor, guardian ad litem for JC.
Ms. Coffey and Ms. Alamon, if you could both please raise your right hand. Do each of you swear or affirm the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. We're here for a permanency review after final order. And we were last here in May. So it's been, 5 months. My understanding at this time, permanency goal is still relative adoption, still with the Rassos and everything's going well there, Ms. Coffey?
Yes, I just have a couple updates to provide this morning.
Okay. Placement safe and appropriate, meeting JC's needs. It's in her best interest to continue there.
Yes.
And she's up to date on all of her checkups.
Yes.
Is she still receiving psychotropics?
She is taking one at this time.
Okay. And the review's up to date?
Yes.
Are her grades still good?
Yes.
And is she still participating in therapy?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sure we've probably gotten the hashtag in the redacted file since our last hearing, correct?
Yes, the family has been given both of those.
Okay. And then how are we doing on that background check on the grandson?
So we did get the, or Divinity did get the background checks. I believe it was September 23rd, about 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. And everything's good there?
Yes, everything is good there.
Any other holdups or obstacles to achieving the permanency goal?
So as of last night, I was informed by Mrs. Rasso, that I guess JC has, what she said, has been a little out of control, and that they want to hold off on the adoption for a little bit, just so she can get a therapist that's closer, excuse me, and have a psychiatrist that's closer. So this is all news to me. I tried to find out what exactly is going on because all the home visits have been fine. And she hasn't responded, but myself and the kinship worker are going to the home this afternoon, just to kind of meet with her before JC gets home from school and kind of see what's going on, because this is the first that I'm hearing that there have been any issues.
Okay.
Other than that, they are ready, I believe, to be licensed, but they do have some trainings that will start to expire.
Okay.
Your Honor, I have details when you're ready to hear them.
Okay.
Some details.
Well, I guess let's hear them. I don't know if Ms. Thompson, do you have any questions for Ms. Coffey?
No questions from the department, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Collins, do you have any questions for Ms. Coffey, or you just want to give me a report?
I think probably the easiest thing is just to give a report and we can work it out best we can.
Okay, that's fine.
So I talked to Ms. Rasso a couple of days ago, and it was a surprise to me as well. She did say that Ms. Coffey was coming this afternoon, and I don't think Ms. Coffey, she hadn't told Ms. Coffey about all of it yet. But essentially, JC is just giving them trouble. She's and she's 13, so they realize it could be partly hormonal, could be partly her age, whatever, but she's talking back. She won't do her chores. Like she has, she's on the yearbook group to take pictures of ball games, and it lasts an hour a couple of nights a week, and she won't come to the car afterwards while Miss Rasso is waiting for her, and she won't call her. So they're having some behavioral issues. Also, but they love her, and they want to just try to work through this. But as Miss Coffee said, and before we get to the next thing, JC stopped taking her appetite stimulant, but she's gained a few pounds. She is supposed to take her ADHD med, one in the morning and one at night. And she just said she's not going to do that. She's taking one. And she also is not taking one of her other meds. She's just kind of deciding, let's see, she's supposed to take Quelbre or something, Quelbre for ADHD, 400 milligrams twice a day, but she'll only take it once a day. So she still sees Raquel Zeller in Houston bi-weekly virtually, but Ms. Russell and I talked about how about getting, and this is probably what she relayed to Kim, how about getting a local therapist weekly, or to start with maybe, or at least bi-weekly, and a local psychiatrist. The psychiatrist is in Houston, is in San Antonio. She said quite a ways away, but Miss Rasso has not been able to see him. Twice they've had an appointment and he's canceled kind of at the last minute. So JC needs to see a local psychiatrist and she needs to see a local therapist. And they have tightened down some on restrictions, like if you behave this way at this game, when you're supposed to be taking pictures, you won't go to the next game. So they're trying to do appropriate things to get her to fall back into less behavioral incidents. But she did say, they're committed to her. They love her. They just need resources, need help from the resources right now. And they would like to wait and reconsider at this time, but plan on adoption just maybe, she said, in 4 or 5 months. But they just have hit a rough spot.
Okay.
I don't know. It is what it is, right?
Yeah. Let me hear from Miss Alamon too. Miss Alamon, anything you want to add?
No, and I did talk with Ms. Rasso yesterday, and she told me exactly the same scenery of what JC is doing at home. Also, she told me that JC won't get ready for school in time, and therefore she's late, and she will open the door and she'll find JC sleeping on the bathroom floor. Now, whether she's really sleeping or not, no one really knows, but that's her game she's playing right now with Charmaine.
And they are just about ready to be licensed with Angel Heart, and I'm sorry to say, but they're planning to go through with that.
Right.
Well, having raised 4 teenagers now, I do see that this is behavior that is not that quite out of the norm for somebody who's 13 getting into middle school, but she's also a child of abuse and neglect, and she's got that in her past. She's got that trauma there. So I'm not surprised by this behavior at all. It's unfortunate, but I think that they would all benefit from somebody with the requisite skills and knowledge and experience to explain that this is completely normal and it's probably not going to be the end of it. It's probably going to happen again in some form later. And that's just part of adopting, a child who has gone through what JC's gone through. So getting that education, I think, would be very helpful. I don't have a problem holding off on the adoption for a little while, but I want to make sure that the placement understands that that could also be part of the problem. And maybe that's something else they need to work through is maybe she's testing them and maybe she wants to make sure that they're going to commit. I don't know. I'm not a counselor, but I don't want to look at this from one angle. I want to look at it from every angle and make sure that we're getting them the help that they need that they can do that. So I'll order that therapist and that psychiatrist locally to begin ASAP. And I want it to be, obviously the psychiatrist is going to work with JC, but that family therapy is what we need. I mean, it's not just going to be beneficial if JC is the only one going. They need to understand her just as much as she needs to understand them. I'll find that the permanency goal of relative adoption is in the best interest of the child. Placement is safe and appropriate, meeting her needs in her best interest to continue. It's the least restrictive placement possible. Find that she's up to date on all of her checkups and that her psychotropic review is up to date and her educational needs are being met. And that she's still, my understanding was that she was still attending therapy, but if we need to change that, then we need to change that. I don't know. I'm not really sure. She's been in therapy this whole time, correct?
Well, it's every 2 weeks virtually with her therapist in Houston. And I think, and I would recommend too, a local one, and that there be family therapy,
Okay. Well, let's get that local therapist and let's get the family involved because I don't think the virtual is cutting it anymore.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, court finds that the only barrier to adoption at this time is the licensing being completed and then now the behaviors of the child in the home. I will find that Belong has made reasonable efforts to achieve the permanency goal by maintaining contact with the family, assisting with licensing and the necessary documentation, and placing the child with family. The next hearing on this case is going to be March 12th, 2024 at 10 a.m. March 12th, 2024 at 10 a.m. And I think it's just important to make sure that they stay on top of the licensing issues, because the last thing I want to see happen is for us to get JC through whatever hump this is and then come back in 3 or 4 months and find out that we've got to wait another 3 or 4 months because a bunch of things expired. So please be on top of that as well with the family, and let's not let that get in the weeds either. All right. I'll see you all back March 12th, 2024 at 10 a.m. Anything I failed to address?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you for your time and your service. All parties are excused.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This live on YouTube. Ms. Garcia, would you please begin the announcements?
Alexis Garcia for the department.
Kim Coffey, Belong Adoption Specialist.
Laura Martinez, adoption supervisor.
Amy Harding, Hill Country Casa, guardian ad litem for JC.
Ms. Coffey and Ms. Harding, if you both please raise your right hands. Each of you swear or affirm the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Yes, I do.
Thank you. All right. JC is the only child left in this suit. My understanding is that we kind of have a lot of the same stuff to report that we did back in October, with just some minor behavioral changes. So, Ms. Coffey, the permanency goal is still relative adoption,
Yes, Judge.
and the placement with the Rassos is safe and appropriate, meeting her needs in her best interest to continue.
Yes.
It's the least restrictive placement available,
Yes,
and she's up to date on all of her checkups.
she is.
Her psychotropic review is up to date.
Yes.
Her educational needs are being met.
Yes.
How are her grades?
She's got good grades. She takes advanced classes, and I think she's got all A's and B's.
Okay. And last time we were here, she was getting therapy bi-weekly. How often is she in therapy now?
I believe it is every Wednesday. The therapist meets with JC and also with Miss Rasso.
Okay. Now I know we've had Ms. Collins was concerned about some of JC's behaviors. Um, and CASA had in their report that they think that a lot of these behaviors are pretty typical for someone in JC's situation. I think one of the things Miss Collins was concerned about was that maybe something from her past, maybe something from the trauma or that she endured was coming up. What is belongs, I guess, you've been involved for a while. What is your take on her behavior? Is this pretty typical standard stuff, or do we need to get more intervention? What do you think?
So, Judge, I think most of her behaviors are typical. She's 14 now, typical teenage girl behaviors. There's a lot of hormones. I do, and I think she does very well, especially for what she's been through and through the foster care system and multiple placements. I think right now, last month when I talked with the family, they were ready. They told me they were ready to adopt at the end of the school year. So like May, June time. I just met with them this week, and I guess Miss Rasso's got some more health issues that have come up. So she's really concerned that if something happens to her, she won't be around to care for JC. So that's something that's come up more recently. JC's behaviors, I don't think they're anything super concerning. But she is in therapy weekly, so I'm going to reach out with the therapist and just kind of see if maybe something has come up in the therapy sessions recently that maybe have triggered some trauma in her.
Well, and that was one of the concerns that Miss Collins had in her report, was this idea that maybe the Rassos were getting, I don't know, cold feet, getting concerned about moving forward with the adoption. Do you think that it's to the level where we need to start looking at other placements, or do you think it's just kind of work with them and continue to monitor?
I think we should work for them. I know Miss Rasso, she's waiting for some test results and she has to have some other tests done. I don't want to rush anything right now. She had given me a timeline at the end of the school year, and I think by that time she should have her test back that she's waiting on. I certainly don't want to move JC, especially before the end of the school year. She's doing, really well in school, and she's got her friend group, and she's involved in extracurricular activities, and, they're able to care for her right now. I think Miss Rasso's I think she's worried about her own health. And JC being only 14 and just maybe not being around if something happens to her.
Let's talk about licensing. Last time we were waiting on a out-of-state background check that you had received, and it was going through processing, and there were some trainings that were going to expire. So where are we at with that licensing prong?
They are licensed.
Okay. All right. Okay, so this conversation that we had back in October from Miss Russo kind of felt like JC was getting out of control. We're not there anymore. We're just
my opinion, I think a lot of it is typical teenage behaviors, little lies about things, just that middle school wants to hang out with her friends type of behaviors. I don't see any huge incidents or anything, like runaway or anything like that.
okay. And so I guess that would just, this is, we're having a kind of a candid discussion here. My concern is we've been having these kind of reports from the placement since October at least. And now, Ms. Rasso is concerned about some health issues. It sounds to me like both Casa and Belong and Ms. Collins, to a certain extent, have a different view than Ms. Rasso of what these behaviors are. Would I be correct in saying that, or am I oversimplifying it?
I think they're more typical probably than Miss Rasso. And I've talked with her about it. There's just not, I think there's just some defiance and back talk and things like that, that to me seem to be typical for her age and development.
Okay, and that's kind of what I've gleaned, and I would agree. I've spoken with JC, and I'm not hearing anything from you. I didn't read anything in the CASA report, and I didn't see anything in Ms. Collins' report that gave me great cause for alarm. What gives me concern is that we haven't even gotten through this whole process yet. And it sounds like Ms. Rasso has a very different perspective. And so I guess what I'm trying to be proactive about is, it sounds like you're saying no. It sounds like you're saying we're not quite at the point where we need to start looking for alternative placements. But is it something that we should have on the horizon? Are we that far along?
I think it would be a good backup plan to have to prepare for.
Okay. All right. Ms. Garcia, you have any questions for Ms. Coffey?
No, Your Honor, nothing further.
Okay. Ms. Coffey, besides what we've already talked about, are there any reasonable efforts that you want the court to consider?
No, I mean, I did talk with Miss Rasso that about any other family members or fictive kin that could care for her.
Okay.
She said not full time. There's a lot of family and support, but I guess that they could not care for her full time if something happened to her.
Okay. All right. Trying to find I don't know where I put that report from. There it is. Okay. So no, that's not it either. Did you all get a copy of Miss Collins' report? Has everybody seen it?
Yes, Judge, I have.
Okay, Miss Harding is shaking her head no.
Yes, we have it. Sorry.
Oh,
Yes.
you do have it. Okay.
Yes.
So we don't need to go over it in detail then?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, it sounds to me like Miss Collins is fine with placement continuing. She just had some of those reservations that we've already talked about. We don't need to go over it all again. Miss Harding, the CASA report seems to be mostly in line with that. Anything else that you want to add, or any other requests that CASA might have at this time that are not in that report?
I don't know that we need any special orders from the court. My concern for JC at this point, and think that maybe some of, an undertone to her behavior, is she's had so many adoptive placements that have gotten to almost consummation, and then all of a sudden the bottom fell out. Yeah. And, I'm concerned that she is fearful of that cycle repeating itself, maybe almost to some degree of a self-fulfilling prophecy, because that has happened time and time again. And so I do think that all of her needs are being met, and the Rassos love her and care for her, but their expectations for her behavior are, I think, stricter than what I certainly would be understanding of based on all of her history and her trauma. think she's a pretty typical 14-year-old girl. She's got some extra sass, but it's not anything that, I'd be reporting something very different to the court if she were running away, if she were sneaking, drugs or any significant things of real concern that had a criminal behavior to it. And that's not what we're getting from her. I would like to maybe consider having a placement support meeting of sorts where we can get the extended family, if we could get the extended family members to come together, because the Rossos do have a big support system, and really feel the situation out to see if there's somebody else that can take her in the event that we aren't able to consummate the adoption, because she wants to be with family. And I don't want to have to put her in yet another potential foster adopt home. I don't think that will go well for her because of all of the failed attempts previously. And that's my concern. So being able to do anything that we can to get this to consummation, I think, is necessary.
Okay, thank you. I'll find that the permanency goal of relative adoption is in the child's best interest, that her placement with the Rossos is safe, appropriate, meeting her needs, in her best interest to continue. Court finds that she's in her least restrictive placement possible. She's up to date on her medical, dental, and vision checkups. Her psychotropic reviews up to date. Behaviors are, I think, overall typical, normal. For a child of her age and for a child who is in care. I'm not hearing anything that gives me cause for alarm. Court finds that her educational needs are being met and that her grades are good. Court finds that she's receiving weekly therapy and that is appropriate. Court finds that the placement is licensed and that Belong has made reasonable efforts by maintaining contact with the placement and JC, assisting with the licensing, keeping her with family, and exploring other options in the event there's an issue with this placement. Here's what I want to do with the Rassos and JC. I am going to order that support staffing that Ms. Harding suggested. I think that would be good. Let's do that within the next 30 days or sooner if we need to. But I'm also going to order that the Rassos go to 4 therapy sessions with JC. All 3 of them go to 4 therapy sessions, because I would hate to see a problem here. And because I agree with Ms. Harding that there's probably a pretty good potential for that whole idea of a self-fulfilling prophecy, or even some intentionally destructive behaviors to test the boundaries and just see, well, how much do you want me? I've seen it before, and I'm not saying exactly that it's happening here, and I'm certainly not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but I've just seen it before. Children push and push and push because they want to make sure that the people that have them aren't going to give up on them. And I don't know if that's happening here or not, but I think that one of the things that as an employee of the state I had to do was go to training on how the different generations communicate with each other. And I don't know that they're communicating right. I don't know that the expectations that the Rassos have for a child of her generation are the best expectations to have. And maybe we could bridge that gap by exploring that in therapy. So I want them to go to 4 therapy sessions. And Miss Coffey, if you could put a bug in the therapist's ear, that I would really like for them to focus on intergenerational communication. I think that's important here. And expectations for how raising a child in 2025 is very different from every other generation, and we need to take that into consideration. Maybe that will help. Maybe it won't, but that's all I can come up with at the moment. Anything I failed to address, Ms. Garcia?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. We'll be back August 13th at 10:30 for our next hearing. August 13th, 2025 at 10:30. That's our next planned permanency review. Maybe we'll make some progress on some other fronts in between now and then, and we won't need that hearing, but we shall see. Okay. Thank you all for your time and your service. If nothing further, all parties are excused.
Thank you, Judge.
The First Judicial District Court of Kendall County, Texas. Ms. Thompson, would you please begin the announcements?
Jessica Thompson for the department.
Alejandra Cerduche, Belong Permanency Specialist.
Ashley Crouch, Belong Permanency Supervisor.
Richard Saldivar, attorney for the child, ready?
Marco Cabrera, I represent unknown father. I still have no information as to his identity or whereabouts. Announcing not ready.
David Malilly, Hill Country Casa, guardian ad litem for the child.
Sarah Woods, Hill Country Casa, guardian ad litem case supervisor.
Rochelle Acevedo, attorney for the mother, and Judge, I don't see her on, so I'm going to announce not ready.
Does anybody know how to get in touch with this M. Costilla person?
Me, I'm gonna call her.
Okay, thank you. Well, the issue we have is that we have an interpreter that is going to be logging in, but if I can't get mom on, then I don't need the interpreter. And I don't want to move forward with the hearing until I know whether or not we're able to get mom on and I need the interpreter. So while Ms. Zotuche is trying to get in touch with M. Costilla, because they're not able to connect, they keep trying, it's not working. We'll be in a brief recess. Ms. Zotuche, have you heard anything?
I'm on the phone with her. She's trying to reconnect now.
Ms. Costilla?
Yes, sir. I am here.
Okay, do you have the mother there with you?
Yes, sir. She is. Hold on. I am trying to get this to zoom out. Are you able to see us?
No, ma'am.
I am trying to turn on the video here. We are. Okay, are you able to see us now?
Yes, ma'am. Does she need an interpreter?
Yes, sir, she does.
Okay. Miss Greenlee, they never logged in. I don't know if.
I just left her another message, Judge, and I'll shoot him another email.
Okay. Well, I don't have an interpreter here yet. I don't know where they are. It was up in the air whether or not mom was going to be here, but they were supposed to have logged in already. I was going to call them off if we couldn't get Miss Pinto Garcia in the hearing. But now she's here. It's 12 after, and I don't have an interpreter yet. I don't know, Miss Acevedo, have you spoken to your client?
I'm sorry, Judge. There. I haven't talked to her since the FGC.
Okay. Does she speak English well enough to understand, or is that not even an issue?
She needs an interpreter, Judge.
Okay. All right. We're just gonna have to wait till we get one. We'll be in recess. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I'm gonna call Miss Zotuche. Miss Zotuche has been sworn. Miss Zotuche, there's no Indian child heritage in this suit, correct?
That's correct.
Mr. Cabrera and Miss Acevedo both announced not ready. I'm overruling Ms. Acevedo's not ready, obviously, because the mother's here. I'm sure you're withdrawing it. And then Mr. Cabrera represents an unknown father. I will grant his not ready because I know we don't have any information as to the unknown father. I'm not going to make any orders as to an unknown father today. Ms. Tucci, did you all develop a family plan or a permanency goal at your family group conference?
Yes.
Is it family reunification?
Yes.
And is the current placement of the child and still in the foster home in Guadalupe County?
Yes.
Is that placement safe, appropriate, and meeting the needs of the child?
Yes, it is.
Is it in Estefania's best interest to remain in that placement?
It is.
And is she up to date on all checkups?
She is.
Is she receiving any special services?
No, she did not qualify for services at this time.
Is the mother having visitations with Estefania?
Yes, she is. She is visiting every other week for 2 hours.
Are those visits appropriate?
They are.
Are you asking for any changes to the visitation schedule?
Not at this time.
Your report, the report reflects that you had a family group conference.
Yes, we did.
Mother participated.
She did.
And did she review and sign the plan?
We just got those translated for her, and then I will be going over them with her today so that she can sign it. But she is aware that she was needing to sign it. We just had to get it all translated for her.
Okay. Are the plans on file with the court?
They are.
Are they narrowly tailored to address the concerns that brought the child into care?
Yes.
Are they in the best interest of the child to make orders of the court?
Yes.
Is it safe to return the child to the mother today?
Not today.
Has she addressed the concerns sufficiently to return the child today?
No, sir.
Is it in the best interest of the child to remain in the temporary managed conservatorship of the department?
Yes.
Was the daycare assistance provided as requested at the last hearing?
Yes.
I guess, okay. And are you asking for any other orders today?
No, sir.
Okay. Ms. Thompson, and if the attorneys could please remember, just keep it to a status hearing. Only ask the questions that you need to ask today. Ms. Thompson?
No questions from the department, Your Honor.
Ms. Acevedo?
Thank you, Judge. With regard to the service plan, you indicated that it is going to be translated in Spanish.
It has been already. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And with regard to the services, are these services that will be in Spanish?
Yes. Yes, I have specified to the providers that she is Spanish speaking only and that she has difficulty reading and writing.
Okay. Are any of these Zoom?
I don't know that yet. The service providers have not reached back out yet, but they will be Zoom unless mom asks me to put them in person, but I know she has a barrier with transportation.
Okay, and I guess the issue might be that she also has a barrier with Zoom. Is there someone that is going to help her? I mean, I know that that's probably more feasible, but can someone either from the department or otherwise help her on these Zoom services?
I can attempt to ask people in my unit if anyone's available to help. Right now, the MCA that's with her right now, she's already helping her with transportation to and from her visitation, and she's helping her with this right now. So if I were to schedule services on this same day, that might be too much for the MCA. But I can always try to assist, however I can as well.
Okay, and then the services that are not Zoom, are they at least local for her?
Yes, they will all be local in Bernie.
Okay, I'll pass, Judge.
Mr. Cabredo?
Thank you, Judge. Were you at the family group conference?
I was.
And at that family group conference, mom named a possible father, Mr. Yamiro Pineda, living in Honduras.
The name I got was Andoni Pineda.
Oh, okay. I must have written that wrong. So have you had any luck in contacting him?
No, and we were given a name and number for his sister, but I have not been successful with that either.
Okay. Does the department, will the department be amending its pleadings to include that named person?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Mr. Saldivar?
Does the child need any orders here today?
No, sir.
Is the placement meeting all her needs?
Yes.
And are you asking for that placement to continue?
Yes.
And what would you like to see from the mother for the visits to increase at this time?
I want her to start services first and foremost, and I want to see how she does with those services. Not that she's been doing anything concerning at her visits. They've gone very well. She provides items to the foster mom and for her child, like bags and bags of groceries for her to take back. So as long as she keeps that up and maintains her consistency with her providers, then we could talk about increasing in her visits.
Okay. Are the visits currently scheduled or are they going well?
I did not hear you. That was very choppy.
Okay, I apologize. Are the visits right now with mom going well?
They are.
Okay, pass the witness, Judge.
Any further report that you want to give, Mr. Saldivar?
Judge, child's doing well. All needs are being met. There's no orders that she needs from this court here today. The visits, from my understanding, are going well with mom. And so I'm just asking for placement to continue and for the department to consider increased visitation as she complies with services.
Mr. Malelli, anything you want to add?
No, Your Honor, I agree that placement is the best place for her at the moment.
Anything else before I make a ruling from anyone?
No, Your Honor.
All right. For the purposes of the status hearing, the court finds there's no Indian child heritage in this suit. Court finds that the permanency goal developed at the family group conference is family reunification. Court finds that the placement of the child in foster care is safe and appropriate, meeting the needs of the child, and in the best interest to continue. Court finds that she's up to date on her checkups. She did not qualify for any special services. Court finds the current visitation schedule is appropriate. However, I will authorize the parties to increase visitation provided mother stays engaged and appropriate. Court finds the parties held a family group conference and developed family plans of service that were narrowly tailored to address the concerns that brought the child into care. Court finds the mother participated in that plan. Plans have been translated into Spanish, and that the mother will review and sign the plans today. Court finds it's in the best interest of the child to make those family plans of service orders of the court. Court finds there's no new information on the unknown father at this time. Court finds that Mr. Andoni Pineda has not appeared before this court or been served or asked for an attorney at this time. Court finds it's not safe to return the child today to the mother. She has not fully addressed the concerns, and that it's in the best interest of the child to remain in the temporary managing conservatorship of the department. Our next hearing will be the initial permanency hearing, January 8th, 2025 at 10:30 a.m. January 8th, 2025 at 10:30 a.m. I have to admonish the parents that the state of Texas gives parents in CPS cases 12 months to demonstrate that you can provide a safe, stable, violence, and drug-free home for your child. In the event you cannot do so, your rights to your child are subject to restriction or termination. Anything else, Ms. Thompson?
Nothing else, Your Honor. Everything's
Okay. Thank you all for your time and your service. Our next hearing on this case will be in person. We are going to be handling these in person because I don't want to have this interpretation issue again. We're 49 minutes behind and we're not going to do that again. So I will see you all in person for the next hearing. All parties are excused. Thank you. Okay. Ms. Swallow, you heard anything from your client?
No, Judge. No contact, no service.
Okay.
And Judge, if I might, this is Rochelle Acevedo. I apologize. I have a court that's calling me because I have a unruly prisoner and they're making me. Yeah, he's on. Okay, thank you. They're doing the judge is calling me. I'm in Judge Messa's court in the 226. I don't know if maybe Ms. Dyer, Ms. Swallow could just I know where the status that they would ask my questions just with regard to the service plan.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you. May I be excused, Judge?
You are.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jessica Thompson for the department.
Richard Sullivan for the children. Ready?
Anna Swallow for Freddie Hernandez, no contact, no service, not ready. And I'll be standing in to assist Rochelle Acevedo on behalf for the mother.
¿Me escucha? Sí. Ok. Apáguese. Ok, muy bien. Ya estoy interpretando.
Deborah Fuller, attorney for Mr. Rivas. There's no service and I've had no contact. I'm announcing not ready, Your Honor.
Sherry Dye for Mr. Altamirano, and I am present. He is not, but I can proceed with respect to this hearing.
Sarah Woods, Hill Country Casa, guardian ad litem case supervisor.
Alejandra Certuche, belong permanency specialist.
Crouch, belong permanency supervisor.
Beatrice Zavala, kinship specialist.
Cindy Shackelford Casa, volunteer advocate.
Anyone who is not an attorney or will be giving testimony, please raise your right hand.
Your Honor, is Mr. Cabrera on the case for the unknown father? Just wasn't sure.
I don't have him listed on my list.
Okay. I was going to text him, but I thought I had him written down on the case file.
Maybe he is, but I don't have him in front of me. So we can proceed, and if we need to bring him in, we will. Anyone who is not an attorney or will be giving testimony, please raise your right hand. Do each of you swear or affirm the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Judge.
I do.
And Ms. Cavazos Jones, if you please raise your right hand. Do you swear to translate from English to Spanish and Spanish to English to the best of your ability?
I do, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, we're here for a status hearing. Ms. Certuche, is there any Indian child heritage in this suit?
No, Judge.
And where's the child placed or the children placed, excuse me?
They are placed with their maternal grandmother in San Antonio.
And what day were they placed there?
August 16th.
Is that placement safe and appropriate, meeting their needs?
It is.
Are you asking for that placement to continue?
Yes.
And I don't know if I said this, things have been so kind of weird this morning. I am granting Miss Swallow and Miss Fuller's not ready. There's no service on their clients, and I'm going to allow Miss Swallow to stand in for Miss Acevedo.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Miss Artuche, are the children up to date on all their checkups?
Yes, they are. We are pending their cans at this time. I was with the maternal grandmother on Monday, and I was able to call the provider, and I filled out the forms, and they should be reaching out to the grandmother to get them scheduled. And they will be completing psychologicals as well.
Okay. Do the children have any other needs from a medical, dental, or vision standpoint at this time?
No, sir.
And are they, I don't know, is Astrid in any kind of daycare or preschool?
She's in pre-K.
Okay. Are they all having their educational needs met?
Yes.
Any concerns there?
No, not at all.
Okay. Does the foster, or excuse me, the grandmother need anything else, or do you need any orders as it pertains to placement today?
No, she's already been set up with her kinship worker as well, so she's good.
Good. Are the children in therapy or anything like that?
No, that was not requested when we went to the FGC.
And none of them are receiving any type of medicines?
No.
Okay. No medications. Are they visiting with the mother?
They are supposed to be visiting with the mother for 1 hour every other week. They have only had one visit on September 4th, and the next visit in September, they could not get a hold of mom, so there was no visit. They should be having one today, though.
Is it set up
It is.
and mom's aware of it and where it is and all of those things?
Yes, it's the same every week, or every other week, it's the same.
Are you asking for any change to the visitation schedule at this time?
I would probably ask for a 24-hour confirmation from mom moving forward.
And you all held a family group conference.
Yes, we did.
Did mother participate?
Through her attorney.
Okay, so she didn't
She did
actually
not
participate in
personally
creation. Okay. And she hasn't reviewed or signed the plan, or has she?
She has not.
Is the plan narrowly tailored to address the concerns that brought the children into care?
Yes, it is.
And are the services listed in the family plan of service in the best interest of the child?
Yes.
Are you asking them to be orders of the court today?
Yes, I am.
And are they on file?
Yes.
Any new information on the fathers that have not been served yet?
No, the Honduran consulates are or have been notified about the cases, and they have well, their assistance has been requested to try to locate the fathers. As far as Mr. Altamirano, I have not had any contact with him. I have attempted to meet with him several times since I got the case, and I went to his residence. I left my business card, but I have not heard from him at all. So, I don't know where he is, if he's still living in the same residence. But
Okay. All right.
Your Honor,
And then-
Mr. Cabrera's in the waiting room. Just wanted to let you know.
Okay. I don't really think that we need him per se for this hearing, but we can have him come in. It doesn't show that he's there, actually.
Oh, he just texted me that he logged off. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, it's fine. We don't need him today. It's okay.
Okay.
Ms. Senatucci, I think you were just testifying. Did you create a family plan of service for Mr. Altamirano?
I did.
So what if I asked you all the same questions about his family plan of service as I did for the mothers, would your answers be the same?
Yes.
Okay. Has mom started to engage in anything?
No, all referrals have been sent, but I was also not having any contact with her. I attempted to meet with her, obviously in person at the FGC, and then I tried to meet with her at the CPS office in Bernie, but she was not responsive to my texts. And then I tried to send her to complete a drug test on the 30th, but she did not complete that, and she was not responsive to me at all. The first time I heard from her was yesterday. But this was after I met with her mother, and I was telling her the importance of her engaging in services, especially her substance abuse, because that was a big part of this case. So, yesterday she texted me asking if I could send her to drug test next week.
Okay. So at this time, it's not safe to return the child to any parent or the children to any parent.
Correct.
And at this time, no parent has fully addressed the concerns that brought the children into care.
That's correct.
You're asking for the children to remain in the temporary managing conservatorship of the department.
Yes, I am.
Are you asking for any other court orders of the court today?
No, Judge.
Okay, Ms. Thompson, if you would begin, and if the attorneys could please remember, we need to keep it to only status hearing things today because we're behind.
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Swallow, I'll start with you since you're here for Ms. Acevedo.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Tucci, so your testimony is that you have not reviewed the service plan with the mother?
I have not been able to, no, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have plans to do that?
I will, now that I have, or some communication with her as of yesterday, I will schedule that.
Okay, and so does she have any information on what the service providers or contact information?
She does not have that, no.
Okay, if you're unable to get in touch with her again, how are you going to do that?
I'll probably try to utilize her mom as best as I can, because it seems as though she can take redirection from her mom, because I explained it to her mom and somehow she was able to spontaneously text me back. So that's what I will try to do.
And when you spoke to her yesterday, did she give any reason to you as to why she was having difficulties communicating with you?
No.
Okay. Thank you. I pass the witness.
Ms. Fuller.
What efforts have you done to attempt to locate Mr. Rivas?
We notified the Honduran consulates.
And have you received a response?
Not at this time.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor. I just need to update the court on this at the end.
Ms. Dye.
Yes, when was the last time you had contact with my client?
The day after the adversary hearing, I attempted to schedule an in-person visit with him, and he was responding to my text, but he did not show to the office. And since then, he has not been responsive to my text.
Okay. And I apologize. I have two cases back to back, and I believe that I indicated the status of my other client accidentally. Have you, when you've texted him, have you also let him know that you have the plan of service for him to review?
No, I have not.
Okay. And when you have texted him, have you received any indication that that number is no longer working?
No, they've said delivered. It's an iPhone, so it tells me that it's delivered.
Okay. Have you attempted to go by the address a second time?
Not this month. I went like on the 27th.
Okay. And the 27th of September.
Yeah, it was a Thursday, so I think that was the 26th.
Okay. And he has not notified anyone at the department of any move or relocation, correct?
No, ma'am, that's correct.
Okay. I'll pass the witness.
Saldivar.
Judge May, yes. How have the visits gone so far?
They've only had one visit so far, and it went really well. The children were pretty upset that the second visit didn't end up happening. So when I saw them this Monday, they were very, very anxious about this visit, and they hoped that mom would show up this time. So they understand when mom shows and when she doesn't. But their understanding is that mom was sick. But the visits it went well.
And you agree with me that the children do want to have more contact with the mother?
Yes.
Okay. And the grandmother has indicated that she's willing to supervise visitation. What would the department want to see from mom to allow the grandmother to supervise some additional visits?
I would like for mom to get established in her services and be more consistent in her communication with me as well. And I would also like to see sobriety from mom. So I need to have a drug test for mom.
Has she drug tested already, or are we still waiting for her drug test?
I think I heard, has she drug tested already, or are we still waiting for her to drug test?
I sent her on September 30th and she did not go. So I have not had a chance to send her again after that.
Understood. Pass the witness, Judge. Thank you.
Anything else that you want to add, Mr. Saldivar?
Judge, I'm sorry if I have a delay over here. I'm stuck in the courthouse, but children are doing well with the grandmother. No concerns. They're all in school. All the medical and dental have been updated. I'm just asking, the grandmother's willing to supervise visitation. So as soon as the department feels it's appropriate, I'd like to allow the mom to go over and help with, dinner, tucking in the kids, with schoolwork. As soon as that's appropriate, Judge, I know we're early in this case, but grandmother's willing to do it. And the children really want to see mom.
Okay. Ms. Shackelford?
Yes, I visited with the children once at school, and they seemed to be happy, well dressed, and clean. And the assistant principal did state that the older boy had some trouble in school with pushing and shoving, but that was the only thing. I haven't visited them at home, and I strongly recommend that the mother does not spend time with the children until she has passed more than one drug screening.
Okay. Anything else from anyone? Any other requests?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And for the purposes of the status hearing, court finds that there's no Indian child heritage in this suit at this time. That the children are placed with the grandmother, and that placement is safe and appropriate, meeting the needs of the children and in their best interest to continue. Court finds that they are up to date on all their checkups and that they have a CANS assessment pending, as well as psychologicals. Court finds that their educational needs are being met. Court finds that they are not receiving any therapy or psychotropic medication. Court finds that it's in the best interest of the children at this time, because we've only had one visit and then we had one missed visit. I'm going to have the mom confirm 24 hours in advance. Please make sure she understands what that means. Ms. Tucci and Ms. Swallow. Ms. Swallow, make sure that Ms. Acevedo understands that I made that order, please. I'm going to allow the parties to increase her visitation as agreed moving forward. So Ms. Tucci testified that all the referrals have been sent out, and mom has everything she needs, but she's not quite engaging it. So I don't imagine we're going to be increasing visitation soon, but hopefully she can get on the ball with things long before we come back in January and maybe get some increased visitation. I'm going to make the same order when it comes to allowing her to go to the grandmother's house. I'll authorize it, but not till you all agree on it. So if she's not doing what she's supposed to be doing, she's not drug testing or she's not engaging, then we're not going to do the extra visitation. We're not going to do visitation at grandma's house. I want to see that happen. I hope that happens, but she's got to get engaged and she's got to get on the ball and she's got a drug test. Court finds the parties held a family group conference and developed family plans of service that were narrowly tailored to address the concerns that brought the children into care. Court finds that neither Mr. Altamirano or Ms. Herrera Perez participated personally, but that the plans were created, they are on file, they are in the best interest of the children, and the court's going to make them orders of the court, going to order below to make sure that they both get a copy, sign and review it, and if they need translation, make sure they're translated. As of today, no parent has fully addressed the concerns that brought the children into care. As of today, it's not safe to return the children to any parent, or that the find that it's in the best interest and order that the children remain in the temporary managed conservatorship of the department and belong. Court will distribute a discovery control plan and a pretrial scheduling order, which will include dates and times of future hearings, as well as rules, deadlines pertaining to discovery. I have to admonish parents, the state of Texas gives parents in CPS cases 12 months to demonstrate you can provide a safe, stable, violence, and drug-free home for your child. In the event you cannot do that, your rights to your child are subject to restriction and or termination. We will be back for an in-person hearing on January 8th, 2025 at 11 a.m. Again, that is an in-person hearing, January 8th, 2025 at 11 a.m. Anything else, Ms. Thompson?
I just needed to update the court on my client, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
There is a pending case in Kendall County with the child Austin Herrera and my client. I spoke with a service called RAICES, RAICES. It's a refugee service legal assistance program in San Antonio. I'm trying to get more information from them in regards. They haven't been able to locate my client, but they asked that I send them the documents from CPS. I wanted to make sure the court's aware because they weren't aware that the child was in the care of the department or belonged.
Okay. That's understood. If you need anything else from me on that, just let me know, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Well, thank you all for your time and your service. Ms. Adetta, good luck to you. And nothing further, all parties are excused.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Present. We have one more, Ms. Cavazos Jones. Does anyone have any information as to that?
Yes, Your Honor, I apologize. I had my hearings flip-flopped in my last announcement. There is a difficulty with my client, the father, and him being present today in time. So I don't expect that he will be online this time.
Okay. Miss Lawrence, thank you for that, Miss Dye. Miss Lawrence, any word from Miss Mazariegos?
Yes, Your Honor. We have been able to make contact with her, not myself personally, but my covering coworker as well as CASA.
But we still don't have service.
We do not have service. The consulate was notified and stated that because her address is for a communal area, they cannot serve her.
Has she indicated any willingness to participate?
Yes, she has, and she does have all the information regarding this hearing today, so we were hoping that she would be present.
Okay, well, we'll see. All right, I'm gonna call it. Are you ready, Miss Cavazos Jones? Well, actually,
Yes, Your Honor.
she's not here. Just so neither is the father, so we don't really need an interpreter for this hearing. Now that I think about it,
I could
so
wait just in case they come in late, Your Honor, if you
yeah,
don't mind.
just wait a few minutes and we'll see what happens. But right now, you're off the hook. Okay,
Thank you.
Texas, Miss Thompson, would you please begin the announcements?
Jessica Thompson for the department.
Kira Lawrence, permanency specialist with Belong.
Ashley Couch, permanency supervisor with Belong.
Maureen Yanis, appointed for the mother, Marlene Mazariegos. Judge Wheat met with her on the 27th. She does have the Zoom information for today. However, she still hasn't been served and she's not here. So for that reason, I'm announcing not ready.
Sherry Dye, on behalf of the father, I'm announcing not ready just due to his inability to be present today. But he is aware of this lawsuit and participated at the 260.
Kathleen Savage, attorney ad litem for the child, Your Honor, I'm ready.
Sarah Woods, Hill Country CASA, guardian ad litem case supervisor.
Elizabeth Sheehan, guardian ad litem, Hill Country CASA.
Anyone who's not an attorney or will be giving testimony, please raise your right hand. Do each of you swear or affirm the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay. Miss Lawrence, did you all develop a permanency goal at your family group conference?
A permanency goal, we developed a family plan of service.
Okay. Did you develop a permanency goal though?
Yes, the permanency goal currently is still family reunification at this time.
And any child heritage in this case?
No, Your Honor.
Where's the child placed?
She is with her teacher from last year.
What county?
Kendall County. She's in Bernie.
What was the date of that placement?
August 19th, 2024.
Okay. I'm going to grant mom's not ready. Miss Giannis is not ready because we don't have service on the mother. I know she met with y'all, but we still don't have service. I don't have her here. Got no jurisdiction over her yet. And then Miss Dye, I'm going to overrule yours just because the father did participate. He's aware of this suit. It's just a status hearing, so we're going to go ahead and move forward. Miss Lawrence, is that placement safe and appropriate at meeting her needs?
Yes, it is.
It's in her best interest to continue.
Yes, it is.
Does the grandmother have it, or the teacher have everything she needs?
Yes, she does, and she has a kinship specialist as well.
Is Sonia up to date on all of her checkups?
She is.
Any concerns?
She has some dental concerns and a follow-up has been scheduled for October.
Any assessments?
She did complete a CANS. She is in the process of getting set up with therapy. I spoke with the caregiver yesterday, and made sure that she did have the information for that. And then we are scheduling a psychological for her as well.
How's she doing in school?
She's doing well. She doesn't read or write very well in English or Spanish, I believe. So they're working with her on that, but she has a good understanding.
So would you say her educational needs are being met?
Absolutely.
Is she taking any medicine?
No.
Was any kind of therapy recommended or needed?
She does need to be in therapy per the CANS recommendation, so that's what we're working on.
Oh, okay, you said that. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
All right. Did you all hold a family group conference?
Yes, sir.
Did the father participate?
He was not able to, but his attorney did.
And then I know the mom, it sounds like Ms. Yana said that y'all met with her. Was that at the family group conference?
No, it was separate.
Okay, so she did not participate in the creation of her plan?
Correct. Her attorney did.
Are those plans narrowly tailored to address the concerns that brought the children into care?
Yes, they are.
And are they in the best interest of the children?
Yes.
Are they on file?
Yes, they are.
You're asking the court to make them orders today?
Yes, sir.
Does the mother understand what's expected of her after you met with her?
I was not at the meeting myself, so I am not exactly aware, but I do have the notes documented and I did review those. I believe she has an understanding of the case.
Can you briefly set forth what services you want both parents to do?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Can you briefly describe which services you want the parents to do?
Yes. For Ms. Mazariegos, we are asking that she provide us with proof of employment and a budget and proof of safe and stable housing. We're asking that she also complete a parenting education course and provide us with a certificate of completion. If visits are scheduled, we're asking that she participate consistently. We're also asking that she see a therapist and complete a psychosocial assessment with that therapist and follow all recommendations. And then for Mr. Vasquez, we are asking that he would also provide us with any proof of employment, a budget, and access to the home that he is living in once he is out of incarceration. We are also asking that he complete parenting education courses and submit us a certificate of completion, and that if visits are scheduled, he will participate consistently. And then we are asking that he will also complete a psychosocial assessment and participate in individual counseling and follow all recommendations that are made.
At this time, is it safe to return the child to either parent?
No, sir.
At this time, has either parent addressed the concerns that brought Sonia into care?
No, sir.
Is it in her best interest to remain in the temporary managed conservatorship of the department?
Yes, it is.
Has either parent visited with the child at all?
No.
Ms. Thompson?
No questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Yanis?
No, no questions, Judge.
Di?
Yes, is there anything that my client can do from where he's currently located, with respect to services or this case?
I do not believe the county he's currently incarcerated in offers classes that would fit his service plan.
Okay. And when did you last speak with him?
I spoke with him within the first 2 weeks of September. I've met with him twice now. I don't have that exact date pulled up.
Okay. And would you agree that he wants to be cooperative with respect to this case?
Yes, he does.
And so what does the department recommend at this point, since he cannot do anything where he's located currently?
We are still recommending that he complete the services that are asked of him. We're not sure how long he'll be incarcerated for, and it's important that these services remain intact.
Okay. And have you had any contact with his criminal attorney?
I have not.
Okay, thank you. I'll pass.
Ms. Savage?
Yes, Bailey is going, or I mean, not Bailey, I apologize. Sonia is going to be starting therapy. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you know if that appointment has been scheduled yet?
It has not, I believe, but I spoke with the caregiver yesterday. So between yesterday and today, I'm not sure.
Okay. And phone calls with the mother are going to hopefully begin and possibly be facilitated by the therapist?
Yes, we would follow the therapist's recommendations on that.
Okay. And would the department be opposed to any kind of letters or any kind of some sort of communication between Sonia and her father?
As long as they're reviewed by the department, I don't see a problem with that.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Anything further from anyone else? Ms. Savage?
Nothing else, Your Honor.
Nothing else that you want to report?
Oh, just that I did meet with Sonia. She is doing well in the placement. She is comfortable there. She has that relationship. She is interested in starting phone calls with her mother. I know that there are siblings back home in Guatemala with mom. But she did voice really wanting some sort of contact with dad. She was really missing him. She got emotional during our visit. Maybe if we could do some sort of letters. While nobody has told her specifically where he's at, kids in school talk. And so she has been made aware by a kid that her dad's in jail. So she has an idea. I think that needs to be something she processes with her therapist. I'm sure she's concerned about him. So I'm happy that we've been able to make contact with mom. Hopefully she follows through with the phone call. She voiced wanting them. I know Sonia is interested in to restart that relationship, but right now it's been years since she's seen her, so it's going to take some time.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Sheehan?
Yes, good morning, Judge. Sonia's doing really well in her placement home. She's doing as well as possible in school. She's on a 504, so she's getting extra one-on-one attention and help. The school tested both her hearing and for glasses. Her hearing passed. She has an appointment set up for October 23rd to see an eye doctor, see if she needs glasses. As far as dental work is concerned, yes, there's a lot of dental work to be done. 4 cavities, 1 bad tooth, some broken molars. I think it's just due to bad hygiene and never really having been examined before. She had a regular medical checkup on October 7th and passed with flying colors. As mentioned before, she is going to be working with a therapist. The placement mom was going to be calling yesterday to try to set up an appointment, and they're going to talk about whether they can drive from Bernie to Kerrville, whether that's even doable for them to be able to do that once a week for therapy. which Sonia needs. Sonia, I asked through the placement mom if she could interpret, and I asked if she ever asked about her mom, and she said no. And I asked if we found her mom, would she want to go and live with her? And she said no. And I was a little bit surprised, but then I started thinking about it, and she hasn't seen her mom in half her lifetime, but the last person that she had been with was her dad. So that's all she thinks about, as Miss Savage had talked about. So we do hope to have this family, this placement family, continue on. They are continuing with the licensing process. They're almost finished with all of the different modules, and they have submitted their application and very willing to adopt this child should that be the end run.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Court finds for the purpose of the status hearing that the permanency goal, the family reunification, I guess with the father at this time, more than the mother, can't get to show up, is in the best interest of the child. Court finds there's no Indian child heritage in the suit, that the placement of the child is safe, appropriate, meeting her needs, and in her best interest to continue. Court finds that the child is up to date on all of her checkups. Her dental concerns are being appropriately addressed, and that she has been evaluated and is getting set up for therapy. Court finds that her educational needs are being met and that she's not receiving any medications. Court finds the parties held a family group conference. Parents did not participate, but their attorneys did. Court finds that family plans of service narrowly tailored to address the concerns that brought the child into care were developed, and those family plans of service are in the best interest of the child. The court will order they be made orders of the court, and I'm going to order that belong. Make sure each parent obviously get a copy of that. Court finds there's been no visitation as of this time. We'll see if some happens. Obviously, whatever visitation schedule we had in place when this case began will stand. I'm going to allow the contact between the father and the child subject to therapist approval and review of what's going back and forth. I agree that is important, especially, I mean, I heard two things. She hasn't had contact with her mother for almost half her life. And she understands what's going on with her dad and she wants to see him. So I think denying her the opportunity to have that contact with him while he's incarcerated. Is he still incarcerated? Am I understanding that correctly? Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Yes, Your Honor.
Denying her that opportunity is essentially just completely cutting her off from everything she's known. As far as family goes, and I don't want to do that. I don't think that's in her best interest. So I'll allow that contact, but the therapist has to be involved in it. Our next hearing would be our initial permanency hearing, January 8th, 2025 at 11:30 a.m. January 8th, 2025 at 11:30 a.m. That's going to be in person. I don't know if we're going to have mom involved at that point or if dad's going to be out or what the deal is, but if we have interpretation issues, I want to be in person with those. I'll also distribute a discovery control plan and a pretrial scheduling order with dates and times of future hearings and rules and deadlines for discovery. I have to put the admonishment on the record. The state of Texas gives parents in CPS cases 12 months to demonstrate they can provide a safe, stable, violence and drug-free home. In the event they cannot, their rights to their child are subject to restriction and or termination. Ms. Thompson, what did I miss? Anything?
You didn't miss anything, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for your time and your service. If nothing further, all parties are excused. in the 451st Judicial District Court of Kendall County, Texas. Ms. Thompson, would you please begin the announcements?
Jessica Thompson for the department.
Ms. Fields or Ms. Smith, I don't know who's going to be testifying. You
Dixie
do
Smith,
announce.
alternative response investigator for the case.
Thank you. Ms. Fields, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here. I'm just
Okay.
observing.
Okay, I didn't know if you were going to participate at all. All right. Ms.
Thank
Smith,
you.
would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. All right, we are here today for a motion to investigate the family code requires that we have this hearing and that the parents be served, the hearing not be ex parte unless the court finds that there's probable cause to grant the request. So I'm going to allow the department to put on the evidence. I did review the affidavit when this was originally set. Ms. Smith, is everything in your affidavit, to your knowledge, still true and correct?
Yes, it is.
And can you briefly describe what efforts you've made in order to investigate this matter?
Yes, on September 3rd, I made contact with the child's teacher to see if the child was in school so that I can make contact with her there. However, she was not at school that morning. I proceeded on to the family's residence. An hour or two later, made contact with the father who was in the yard, introduced myself, proceeded to read some information to him, and he declined listening to anything that I had to say, and he declined me access to see and speak with his child and his wife or himself. I had also made several collateral calls from school teachers, principals, occupational therapists, speech therapists, the nurse who has worked with the child from the end of last school year up until current.
Okay. And you have followed up with all of the leads that you can in order to conduct your investigation and your run up against this wall?
Yes, sir, I have. And I also conducted a welfare check with Kendall County Sheriff, and they did make contact at the home on September 3rd and observed the child. They were not allowed to be in the home. Father would not allow access for them to see what the home conditions look like and to make sure there was food in the home.
Now, I understand the parents, there's no proof of service, but do you believe that they're aware of this hearing? Did you have conversations with them about it?
I have not had any further conversation with either the parent. The last conversation I had was on September 3rd with father.
Okay. And do you believe that there's no longer any time consistent with the physical health or safety of the children to delay this hearing?
I do believe.
You believe that the children could be in danger?
Yes.
Right. And specifically, just for the order, because we're doing this ex parte, what type of danger do you think that the children are in, and who do you think poses the danger to the children?
I believe Taylor, who is the 4-year-old child, she has cerebral palsy. She is nonverbal. There's photos that I have received that shows Taylor's overall condition. She is not clean, sores on her feet. I have not seen the sores on her genital areas. However, it's reported that she has sores in that area as well. She is not able to speak for any safety or danger, so she just doesn't have anyone that is adequately taking care of her.
Okay. And you believe that you need admission to the home, school, or any other place where the child may be because of the imminent danger you think that the child may be in?
I do believe that I need access granted to the home as well as the school.
Okay. And you believe that the admission is necessary to protect the children from abuse or neglect?
Yes, sir, I do.
Right. Okay, then I will find that there's no time to reset this and that there is a danger that exists to the children. Miss Thompson, Miss Smith stated some specific things a moment ago that I would like in the order. If you could get that to me, I'm going to grant the motion to investigate, grant the court order based on probable cause. And find that there's no time consistent with the physical health or safety of the children for a full hearing, and that the testimony of Ms. Smith as to what specific dangers exist to each child should be in a separate portion of the order, which I will sign. Anything further?
Nothing. I'm sorry.
Okay, and as part of that order, I will obviously grant the admission to the premises that were required. Okay, that'll be the order of the court. Thank you all for your time and your service. If nothing further, all parties are excused.